Christmas time is here, happiness and cheer, fun for all that children call their favorite time of year. Christmas time is here, happiness and cheer. Well, that's one of my favorite Christmas songs. So I just wanted to share with you some reasons why I love it so much. We'll talk a little bit about the history, when it was written. We'll get into the form of it and how the harmony and melody fit together in some interesting ways. So you might be thinking, oh, well, I love it so much because it's something I grew up with hearing year after year. Well, no, that would not be true. Although it was written way before I was born, it was around when I was growing up. I didn't hear this song until I was much older, out of college, 20 something. Because for many years growing up, I would have friends come up to me in, say, elementary, middle school, high school, even college, and they would say, "Oh, you play the piano. Do you know the Peanuts music, the Charlie Brown theme, the Charlie Brown Christmas music?" And I would look at them and I'd say, "Nope, sorry." Well, I wasn't being mean. I just hadn't heard the song until then. I know it's shocking because I heard so much other music. Somehow that slipped through the cracks and I missed it. Well, finally, one year somebody lent me either a CD or maybe it was even a cassette. I don't know. It was in the 1990s, but he finally lent me something that had this on it. Anyway, that's Linus and Lucy is the official name of that, and that's what people had been hoping to hear all those years when I was growing up. I just didn't know it until then. Well, I'm not here to talk about that piece, but it's written by the same person who wrote Christmas Time is Here. Vince Guaraldi was a great jazz pianist and composer. He didn't think he was that great of a pianist, but I've heard him playing on other recordings, and he sounds fantastic. So Vince Guaraldi wrote Christmas Time is Here. And if all of you knew both of those songs already, congratulations. Sorry, I'm just a little bit late to the party. I didn't learn them until I was 20-something, but anyway, I'm here now and ready to go. So let's talk a little bit about the history of it. Vince Guaraldi wrote the music for Christmas Time is Here back in 1965. He wrote the music for the special made for TV, A Charlie Brown Christmas. Now, how did he get involved in writing music for the Peanuts in the first place? Well, he happened to be lucky. He got a call from the producer. The producer is the person who puts together the whole movie. The producer, Lee Mendelson, was driving around in his car a couple years before, and he was driving around thinking, oh, I need to get some good music for these Peanuts cartoons. And what came on the radio? Something else by Vince Guaraldi. And so Lee Mendelson said, oh, that's it. I like this sound. I'm going to call this guy up. So he called up Vince, and Vince said, sure, I'd be happy to do it. And that's how he got involved in writing music for the Peanuts. And actually, Vince Guaraldi, they liked his music so much that he went on to write, I think it was either 14 or maybe 15, the music for 15 or so Peanuts specials. One is It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. I don't even know all of them, but anyway. So Vince Guaraldi and the Peanuts kind of go together like this as far as the music and the cartoon. So, all right. Now back to the song Christmas Time is Here. There are two versions in that special. One is all instrumental, meaning it's just piano, bass, and drums, your standard jazz trio. The other has some singing in it with words. How did that one come about? Well, it was actually a month beforehand. Vince Guaraldi only wrote the instrumental music. He didn't write any words. And about a month beforehand, Lee Mendelson, the producer, was sitting around at home. He said, this special is coming out in a month. This song needs something. I like it, but it needs some words, some lyrics. So he called up a bunch of people in Hollywood, all the people who wrote lyrics, but none of them could do it. So he said, oh, what are we going to do? I need some lyrics. Well, Lee Mendelson himself just said, I'm going to do it. So he sat down at his kitchen table, started writing the words Here's some of them. Snowflakes in the air, carols everywhere, olden times and ancient rhymes of love and dreams to share. I won't read the whole thing because you can always search online to find out the rest of the lyrics. But anyway, that's how that song came about. Vince Guaraldi wrote the music. Lee Mendelson said it needs words, so they both came together, and that's how the song was created. So here's another interesting thing about Vince Guaraldi, the composer. He had never written a score or like a soundtrack for anything before he started working for the Peanuts. So it just goes to show, sometimes you don't know if you're really good at something unless you just give it a try. And it turns out he was really good. Okay, now let's talk about the music itself. Now we're going to talk about the form of the song. All right, here we go. Oh, sorry, I had to do that. As you know, in the Peanuts cartoons, whenever the adults speak, that's all you hear is wah, 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 wah. Hopefully you can all understand me much better than that. Now, I have to confess, when I was in school, when I was your age, mostly I understood my teachers fine, but occasionally all I heard was wah, 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 wah. So there's some truth to that. All right, so this is the real form in English. Okay, remember, we're going to flash back to last week. Remember how we had A-A-B-A for our form, right? That was Frosty, Rudolph, Santa Claus is Coming to Town, and so many other famous songs. As I said, that's a common form in jazz. Well, guess what? This one's another A-A-B-A. So I'm going to point out where that happens, when it happens. So we start out with the first A section. Here we go. So that's A. Here comes the second A, right? Now we get the B section, right? So we end with A, right? So AABA is our form today. Now that we got the form, let's talk about the meter. Now by meter, what I mean is how the music is metered or measured. In other words, between beat 1 and the next beat 1, how many little beats are there? Well, last week, everything was pretty much in 4. 4 is what we call common time, whether it's faster, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. I can't really conduct it that fast. Or if you had Winter Wonderland, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. If it was even slower, like Chestnuts Roasting, the Christmas song, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And on beat 1 is when the chords change. Oh, that's another secret about music. Usually beat 1 is where there's a new chord or something new happening. So, all right, that was 4. Now, this one, Christmas Time is Here, is in 3, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. The chord changes. 1, 2, 3, 1. So sometimes the song's in 3. Well, especially at Christmas time, that's reserved for the slower, more lullaby kinds, like Away in a Manger, right? That's also in 3. That's kind of like your rocking baby Jesus. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. But a big difference between Away in a Manger and Christmas Time is Here is that in Christmas Time is Here, the eighth notes are swung, right? In Away in a Manger, it's straight eighth notes like I've been telling you. There's tas and ti 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 ta ta ta, right? Ta ta ti 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 ta ta ta. Straight eighths. Now what if I took Away in a Manger and swung those eighth notes in the jazz style? I could, right? So that's a different sound, right? That swung eighths is really what gives it the jazzy sound. Now, I probably wouldn't play it that way on Christmas Eve. I would play it more traditionally because that's what people are used to. Now, what if I do the opposite? What if we take Christmas Time is Here and make it straight eighths? Like ti 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 ta ta ta. Christmas time is here. Well, it sounds kind of okay. It's not quite how the song was written, but you could play it that way. That's a whole different sound. But what Vince Guaraldi was looking for was that ta 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 pa ta ga ta and three ta. So what's happening? What am I doing with my mouth? That's really all about the drumming and how the beat is subdivided. So let's talk about the drum. Something that really adds to the sound of this song is the drums, especially the snare drum. So just to review, in case you weren't sure, the snare drum has drum head on top, and then on the bottom there's a second drum head, and these metal wires or snares are tight against that second drum head. So they're going to rattle every time you hit the drum, usually from the top. Anytime you hit it, those wires or snares are rattling. So that's what gives the snare drum its sound. And in rock and roll or the faster jazz, a drummer usually uses sticks. Kind of like that, you get a crisp, sharp sound, good sharp attack. Now, for this song, that's not what we want. Now, I'm not a real drummer, so I'm sure if you are, you'll notice I'm probably not holding the sticks correctly or using the correct technique, but I just wanted to show you what makes the sound. So a drummer will use metal brushes, often for a slow jazz 3 anything slow. Often they use brushes. These are metal wire brushes. I bought them just today at the music store, so I didn't even practice with them that much. So again, I'm probably holding it wrong, but they go with a song. So let me just get the song started. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Christmas time is here, happiness and cheer. Yeah, and you put little accents in there, so probably a cymbal or two, but the snare with the brushes are what really help with the sound of this song. Now I'm going to talk about a part of the song that I really love, is how the melody goes with the harmony or chords underneath it in some really interesting and unexpected ways. All right, so we've got do, that's our do, or 1 for the song, right? Do, mi, so, 1, 3, 5. That's our opening triad, right? Remember I talked a few weeks ago about pretty much every melody starts on one of those 3 notes and then works its way up or down, then ends back on do, like Away in a Manger, right? Away. That starts right on 5, 5, or do, mi, so, so. And the tune ends right on do. Away in a Manger, beautiful tune, sounds great, very predictable melody. How about Christmas Time is Here? How does that fit in? Let's see. Do, mi, so. Here's the first note of the song. Ready? Christmas time. Wait a minute. That's not one of those 3 notes from the triad, is it? It's not. So already, this song is breaking some rules. It might end up on Santy's naughty list. Let's find out. All right, so this note is actually 1, 3, 5, 7. It's starting on a 7 instead, which is pretty unusual for a song to start its first note on 7. And in the scale, that would be Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. It's starting on T. So it's do, do, do. Oh, then we get down to mi or 3, right? Well, if that were the chord underneath it, sure. But Vince Guaraldi throws us a curveball because he changes the whole harmony underneath it. He does this. Ooh! What is that? Ooh, now here's your warning. Here's where, if you don't follow everything I'm about to say, that's okay too. The music theory gets a little bit intense here. That's one thing I love about the song. If you can't quite follow it all, you can still enjoy the song. It just means you're going to hear, for the next part, me just going. Okay, so back to that note and that chord. What this is it's a 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. It's actually sharp 11. That's pretty hip, right? So now what if he used a different chord? If he just went like, if he didn't change the chord, well, that's okay. It's kind of, it doesn't really go anywhere. If you use the standard chords, that's okay. Maybe the 4 chord, right? Or the 5 chord. It's okay, but it's not as cool and hip as that curveball, right? It's really on the naughty list. Okay. But he says, let's do it twice so you get to hear it twice, right? If you break a rule, do it twice. Sharp 11. Then the rest of it starts on the 7. 1, 3, 5, 7. Another 7th. And then going back up to the 7th. And then he ends on Do like you're supposed to, right? Wrong! We end on that, which is actually Re, or in jazz talk we call that the 9th. Now here's a secret. Jazz harmony has a few different rules. It doesn't just use 1, 3, 5 from the triad. Well, it does use those, but it uses some upper notes. You'll have the 7th, the 9th, maybe even the 11th or sharp 11. There might be a 13 in there. Woo! Okay, if you don't follow it, that's okay. So let's see. Ending on the 9th. What happens in the B section? Let's find out. Oh, actually, he's pretty consistent in breaking the rules, right? Because they're jazz rules. So that's another 7th, right? 1, 3, 5, 7. And then that's another sharp 11. He does that again. This part's not quite so strange sounding, right? Now here's the cool thing. It's almost like he's taking this one note, right? And thinking how many different chords can he put underneath it, right? There's our note. Bum, 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 bum. So the whole B section is kind of based on hitting that one chord, but putting, or the one note, but putting different chords underneath it. Pretty cool. So he ends with a pretty cool sounding chord. This one, above the bass, it would be, ready for this? 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13. Wow. Lucky 13? Maybe unlucky 13? I don't know. Either way, it sounds pretty cool. Then we go back to the A section. 7, sharp 11, 7, sharp 11, and so on. Another 7. 7th, going to the 7th, and then the 9th. So that's what I love. It has some harmonies that are really interesting. They sound beautiful. They're just maybe not the same as Away in a Manger. But I chose it because it kind of fits with this year, right? This year has kind of broken a few rules as well. So I thought, what could we end with for music class this year? How about Christmas time is here. Not only is it appropriate for the season, but it also kind of reminds us of how the whole year has been a little bit up and down. Maybe not quite what we expect, but we still have somehow gotten to the end okay. So, which brings me to the homework for the break. Well, there is no homework. Actually, I lied. There is homework. Your homework is to have and Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Enjoy the time off, relax, try not to think too much about school for a moment, because I know I'm going to be doing the same thing, trying to just relax, enjoying the fact that we made it through to vacation. So that's it. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and I'll see you in 2021.